Hi there, I'm going to show you how to make a simple graph. First, you're going to have whatever data that you have. This may represent your baseline. Let's say that this data represents your intervention. Putting the box around it shows you a little bit better what you're looking at. And we can make a graph out of this. If you look at recommended charts, it'll show you some different options. Generally with ABA, we're going to be using this type of chart. But as you can see, it doesn't separate the data. You have one single line all the way through. We can go in and we can delete the line between the 7 and the 10 manually, but I'm going to show you another way you can do it. Take this data and move it over to the next column. Now, when you select all of your data and you look to do a chart, you'll see here it has separated the data for you. So this line is already gone. Let's go ahead and choose this one. I'm going to move our chart over a little bit, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so you can see. The first thing that you're going to want to do is decide whether or not you want a chart title. You can keep this here, or you can click on the line here and you can delete it if you want. We're going to go ahead and keep it. We also want to get rid of these lines. So I'm just clicking once right here on these lines. You can see they've been selected. We're going to go ahead and delete those with the delete key. Down here, this isn't very useful. If you're going to use your legend, you can right click here, click format, and put it on the right. It isn't very helpful that this says data and then nothing. So let's do it this way. Isn't that better? So because we already selected this data, it's already going to name these automatically, which is really helpful. Another thing is you're going to want to make sure that everything that we use is black. So when we click on this, we're going to say text options, text fill. See how it's kind of gray? We're going to choose black for that. The same thing for our data. We're going to go to the paint, which is going to give us the coloring options. There's line and there's marker. We're going to start with working on the line. We want it to be black, and we want it to be 1 point. For the marker, we also want it to be black, and you can either decide to have no border, or we're going to make the border black as well. We want to make sure that it's going to be a circle. In this one, it has none. We're going to have a built-in one, and we are going to use the circle. And it's also changed it here. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to change the color. Then we're going to go back to the line, make it black, and make it thinner. Okay. So now you can see once we've changed the colors here, this doesn't really have as much use to us. So we're going to go ahead and delete it. Some of you may be wondering, well, how am I going to get anything here or here? There's not enough room. You do that right here. Access titles. We're going to check that. Any one of these things that you want, it'll show you what it's going to look like before you select it. To edit this, again, we don't want to fill the box. We don't want there to be a border. But on the text, we want it to be black. And then it seems funny that you're clicking on it this way. But that's how it works. We're going to do this again. See, when I left this here, I can go in and edit this as well. Now, we also need all of these numbers to be in black, and we also need the lines black with tick marks. So I'm going to click on that. And if you don't, for some reason, if this wasn't open, anytime you're here, you can right click on it and click Format Axis, and it's going to bring up the right box for you. So here we are with Format Axis. Here are the axis options. This is going to become a little bit more important, these different options, as you go along, or you have more complicated charts. The tick marks, oftentimes they're going to end up being, we want them on the outside. We're going to check and see. That doesn't look right, so I can't really see them because they're not any color. So let's go back to color so we can see what we're doing. We don't want any fill. We do want a solid line that's black so we can see it. Okay. Now let's see. None for the major type, outside for the minor type. The reason is because these numbers are just listed where they're listed. So now let's change the numbers by clicking on text options. We're going to go over here to the text box itself. That looks okay. The text fill. Again, this is gray. We want to make it black. It's already looking a lot better. We're going to do the same on this side. Make it black. Go back to the axis options. Tick marks on the outside. Now, here we see it's minor type. Let's see what happens when we get rid of them. There we go. This has to do with the way that it's numbered, and we'll learn how to do that later. So that's it. So that's your chart. And there's one piece that's missing. Is you need a line right here, and you need it to be a dotted line. As you can see, when I click off of this, some things disappear up at the top. But when I click on the chart, and it's different if I'm clicking in here or if I'm clicking out here, you'll see what part is selected here. When there's only one chart, we're going to give this chart tools. And you'll see that it's green. When it's green, it means when you click on Format to add this line, it's only going to add it within this chart. When we have multiple charts, it's going to turn orange. We're going to want to use a different type of formatting tool. So in this case, we can either click on this once, or we can right click and do lock drawing mode, but for this case we only need one line. We're going to center this on the line where we need it, and we're going to hold down the shift key while we drag it up. Because see what happens? No matter where I go, it's making a nice straight line. Okay? When I let go, it has that line selected. So I'm going to go over here to the right. I'm going to make it black, and I'm going to choose a dotted line. Finally, you need to put baseline and intervention in these boxes. So we're going to deselect that line. We have selected our chart. We're going to go back to Format, and we're going to go in this box to use a text box. We're just going to click on that area. We're going to type baseline, and you can change the size of this if you want, but it's not needed. You just need to put it somewhere where it looks okay. And we're going to repeat. We're going to deselect this, click on the chart, go up to Format, and into text box. Intervention. I'm going to show you that it's really not important if you don't change this, because you won't be able to see it when you deselect it. One other thing you're going to want to do is select on this entire chart, and you're going to want to put no line, because right now it has a slightly gray outline color, and we don't want a line at all. Don't forget to save. When it comes time to put this into a Word document, you're going to select the chart. I guess you can, I use Control C, but you can also click copy. And then I like to right click, and under the paste options, you're going to select picture. And the reason for that is because now this is just treated as a picture and editing can't occur on your chart. And everything's there, our line is there, all of our markers are there, and this looks pretty good. Don't forget to save that too. That's it for your basic chart. Let me know if you need any help.